Basa, the one they call Sarumi. Remember, way back, during the COVID debate. Former SA information to former governor of the state, late now, Governor Bella Jumobi. He returns back to Southwest Political Headquarters this afternoon. Demola Sholalu, good to have you once again here.
Mayor, it's a pleasure being here again, and I wish our people happy Salah.
Great. I thought you'd be bringing our own ram here.
Salah.
We're bringing it home. So let's get it started. I'm going to be flagging it up with Demola. I mean, there are those who believe strongly that constructive criticism, from members of the opposition. Incidentally, the issue of APC was, on the front burner yesterday here at the Southwest Political Headquarters, where we had a good time dissecting challenges, and how to move your party forward. Will you just say it's pure opposition politics when it comes to the concerns that you have expressed over the 100 billion bond that the state government is saying, look, we want to go into this bond market to raise up our infrastructure?
No, Isaac. It's more than that. Because when you look at this administration, for instance, and to me, it is evident that this government is not prepared for governance. I keep on saying it because it has taken them a long time for them to realize that, okay, these are the things they are going to do. I checked round, I look at the campaign promises of this administration. I didn't even see where they talked about all these things they are saying they want to do. It appears to me that this government is just doing things as the spirit directs. You see, we are not just criticizing because of politics. We are saying, to me, nothing is wrong in borrowing. This government has borrowed some money in the last 1 year, and which some of us raised concern on what they are borrowing for. They borrowed to construct motor park, which can be done differently without borrowing. So, and they are now also, they want to borrow 100 billion naira. The question is what is the capacity of the state in terms of finance? What is the repayment plan? I listened to the Commissioner for Finance, and my own concern is, are we not going to get ourselves into another problem in future? Because this is a government that is already, it has borrowed so much, and we don't know how they didn't tell us how much they are spending on in servicing the current debt already. We know how much we are earning from the federation account, and we also know the IGR of the state. As at this moment, I am aware that this government is collecting overdraft to pay salary, and they have never even told us the financial implication of that on the state. So now that they now want to borrow money to execute some projects, I also look at the projects they are saying they want to borrow money for. One, the circular road.
Circular road, okay.
The circular road is a very laudable project, and it is not the brainchild of this administration, really. And our own take is this: that circular road is a viable project that can be financed without borrowing a dime. It's a viable project that can be financed without borrowing.
Your administration, had a deal with
Yes.
a private company, ENI,
Yes.
for 7 billion. And after a year, they said it did not fly, and that was why they want to now take it up and spend just 50 billion. You are not impressed?
Wait, if they are taking it over from the
Because the PPP arrangement you initiated failed.
Yeah. Wait, they can also reach out. This governor, as far as I know, said he is a successful businessman. He told us that he has 48 billion as my own question is, who are his business partners that he cannot raise a team of consortium to finance that project?
Even if yours failed, right?
If our own failed,
okay,
without borrowing money, this governor is to me, he told us that he is a billionaire.
So they have a club.
They should have. Of course, we are journalists. We have clubs. If I want to do something and I want Asik Brand to do it for me without much spending much, I know how to. You do it. You oblige me. You see, I expect that he should
are you saying
his wealth of experience in the business world to
use his goodwill, right?
His goodwill.
So on the circular road,
the circular road,
borrowing to fix that,
it does not make sense.
They saying the idea, so many other rules that we're told.
Please don't even talk about all those ones. I beg. They are not. You see, they are important projects really, but they are not that viable for now. They are not projects that will give us return on investment in the near in a short
while. So you believe borrowing 100 billion for all this is misplaced, right? Are you saying it's misplaced?
It's misplaced.
Okay, let me go to analytical Ojasope. You've had, right? Because it's always good. We've had, it's already in the public domain, the intent of this government, why they had to go to this capital market to source for this money. You just heard from him that, look, he never said those projects aren't good for the people, but he's saying borrowing to fix them is misplaced, right?
Let me also state that the issue of borrowing money to execute the expansion of Ibadan Airport is misplaced. The federal government has told everybody, all the states, that they should not spend money on
their behalf, and they may not be able to.
Again.
Okay, but do you also agree if it's done? Do you agree that it's in the best interest of the state? No, I'm just asking you. Apart from a concern,
they are saying they want to transform that place to international airport. Now, I just laugh and I ask myself, for God's sake, they should go to Ilorin International Airport and tell me how many aircraft international is going there.
Apart from Hajj, right?
Apart from Hajj.
Direct to Hajj. Okay, you have your flaw. So you've had him. How do you convince him? The intent of a government, and how also misplaced you think his concerns are over the initiative from the government?
I would change my approach slightly today, because normally I love to address the audience at home, but seeing the level of confusion of my colleague here, I want to address and correct some misconceptions that he has raised here. Number one, he said because Seyi Makinde is a successful businessman, was Governor Jimobi a failed businessman? We have to understand the workings of money and fiscal policies before you understand how successful businessmen reason. A man of God said, how long you have been on a wrong journey is not a guarantee at the right destination. So if the circular road could not be executed in the designated time, why must we continue in the pattern? We have seen many projects, over 200 projects that were abandoned by the immediate past administration, but this administration completed them. This same administration initially condemned the model schools project, but after thorough, investigation, we later completed some of them. The same thing with the school governing board. So if this same administration says, look, this is a white elephant project, I think it is reasonable to admit, because the money expended so far on these projects, they are not APC money, they are not PTP money, they are the people's money. And the administration has promised to make money work and be accountable for every penny spent. That's one. Then two, when you're talking about investment from the perspective of government as all over the world is handing off direct investment. Government don't create businesses again. Government make enabling environment for businesses to strive so that private investors can be attracted. And if you're talking about that, then you're also looking at macroeconomics indicators in the states. And if you are going to look at that, you know that the major driver for the growth in the economy of this state will be these basic infrastructures we are talking about. Apart from those projects listed for the 100 billion naira bond, we must also consider other projects that the states has embarked on. We must look at the agricultural hubs from Okeogun, the road network. Because if you're talking about the expansion of the Alakia airport in isolation, I think it will be like we are myopic, because there is a bigger picture, the interconnectivity of all these projects and how it will boost the economy. For instance, the railway corridor, as soon as this becomes full operational, there will be a lot of settlements. I have heard even on this same radio station, people selling land along the corridor already, encouraging people to come and settle there. That's opening up another area of the state. So if you're saying that these are not investment, I get worried, because you look at how prepared are these people for governance. You're seeing somebody that is very serious and is taking a bold step. Even the governor said it's an ambitious step. So if you are scared, it's understandable why you are scared. Not everybody is gifted to be courageous. And we understand, and we should thank God that we have somebody like this and not the other party, because they will have just folded their hands like the last administration that we are in recession, so they are not paying salary. We are in recession, they are not doing anything, and they were living fat. So these are projects, and these are the way to go. Everybody is beginning to admit the last 1 week now that it's not the loan, it's not the bond that is wrong. So we are debating the issue of these projects, how very important they are. I will give you a scenario. It was after I did a write-up last week that one of the Ibadan High Chief, sent me a message and also broadened my perspective about it. He said there are several times that flights from outside the country will have problem landing. Mayor, where is the nearest airport, international airport, for a big plane to land? Is it Ilorin or Ghana? And while they are stopping over there, there will be little commerce in that space of time. Now, Oyo State is a transit state. You're going to the north, you're going to any other part of southwest, you can pass through Oyo State. Going to Lagos, you have to fast and pray so that there won't be traffic. And recently, God has not been answering that prayer because they were human errors. If we have an international airport here, he was making an instance of Ilorin, and I want to go motivational. The story of two men that were sent to an Asian city to go and investigate if there will be shoe sales. One came back, said, look, all these people, they don't wear shoes. Don't bother to go and market shoes there. Another one came back, said, they don't wear shoes there, so it's a potential big market for shoe sales. The fact that Ilorin has not been very functional is even the more reason why we should think of making Ibadan airport. We are the biggest city in the whole of West Africa. So population is an important indicator in commerce. So if you have the population, that means we have the potential passengers for our international airport. Then you also consider Osun State, you consider Ondo State, you consider Ekiti State that don't have international airport, plus this same Ilorin that is only pilgrims airport they have. So what are you talking about? If the federal government says we will not pay, it does not mean you should not embark on it. Who is federal government? Mayor, we are all federal government. It's not an individual. Federal government doesn't fly. It's human beings, residents that fly.
You raised, a lot of issues about the need for this project and how you believe strongly they will lift this state up. He has also raised the question: how are you going to pay for it? How are you going to pay for this almost 140 billion that we have now? Excuse me. He raised that issue about the fact that, okay, how much are we even getting? No thanks to COVID-19. The business is down now, nationally, globally. Yes. What is coming into our purse now, compared to way back, far low, IGR has really dropped. So he is saying, you don't want to mortgage this stage. You don't want to mortgage children yet unborn. How will this government pay for this almost 140 billion naira now?
When he was talking, he talked about this 100 billion bond was not in the budget, not in the campaign promises.
Yes, it's about manifestos. Most of these things you are doing now,
the projects,
most of these projects,
the projects,
so many
were not captured during the campaign.
The campaign, I didn't.
But if a candidate says, "I'm going to raise infrastructure,"
you see, that's why
must be specific.
So many things were not in the
what I'm
campaign
saying,
promises.
really.
Well, let him
So many things were not in the campaign promises, really.
But they are in the people's interest.
One of them is that how we will fight COVID-19. Because nobody knew there would be anything like COVID-19.
Are you people fighting COVID-19?
No, we are playing with it, Abi.
Everyone in Oyo State knows that this government is not serious about fighting COVID-19, and that is why
show statistics. Wait, that they are not.
How can
fighting
you justify the position Oyo State is in COVID-19 throughout the federation? Number 3, after Lagos,
when you are fighting,
please, I know what I'm talking about.
I'm not sure you do.
There is no reason for Oyo State. There is no reason for Oyo State to be in number 3 position if you are fighting COVID-19, and I can challenge anybody on that. I had a visitor from Lagos.
Hold on.
We were going around, and the guy said, are you, Demola, are you serious? Are you saying you people are serious in Ibadan? We said, I said, that's what our governor is doing, no? Because it does not even, I'm, in fact, please,
we are sticking with we are sticking.
They should not go there.
Hold on a second. Listen, on Crossfire, listen. We are sticking with physical responsibility, and that is the essence of this conversation. We're going to have a break. When we come back, more here.
Fresh 105.9 FM, your feel-good radio.
Foodco Festival of Savings, 16 days of massive discounts and offers. Couldn't have been any time better than now as Foodco rolls out massive cost-saving shopping spree in all our outlets with our incredible Festival of Savings. Spend 5,000 naira and above and get snacks pack free. Shop 10,000 naira and above and get yourself a free meal voucher. Yes, a free meal voucher. That's not all. Tremendous discounts on your favorite drinks, wines, groceries, and home appliances. Container pack of 6 now 770 naira. Golden Monk 450 grams at 640 naira. Binaton Iron D1265 5,150 naira. Mama vegetable oil 900 ml just 665 naira. Eva grape wine 980 naira. Honeywell macaroni 500 grams 175 naira. Foodco cares for you this pandemic season. Save big. Take advantage of our ongoing Foodco Festival of Savings from 24th of July all through 8th of August 2020. Offers available while stock lasts. Terms and conditions apply.
Yay! ẹjọ́.
ìwà ìbàjẹ́ ni ìwà tí ò bójúmu ni ọlọ́run lòdì sí pẹ̀lú fífọmọ obìnrin ṣòwò ẹrú ẹ má fi wọ́n ṣòwò nàbì ò gbọ́dọ̀ sọ wípé wọn kì í ṣọmọ obìnrin ẹ̀yin òbí ẹ dẹ́kun yíyan ọmọkùnrin nípọ̀sìn lórí ọmọ obìnrin ká ṣèkẹ́ wọn ní dọ́gbandọ́gba pẹ̀lú fífìfẹ́ hàn sí wọn obìnrin ń darí ìlú wọn ní ṣọ̀gá iléeṣẹ́ ọgbọ́n àtinúdá wà fún wọn ẹ má yẹpẹrẹ wọn gbogbo ẹ̀yin òkúndùn bá nǹkan jẹ́ tẹ́ ẹ kúndùn kẹ́ máa fi tipátipá báwọn obìnrin lájọṣepọ̀ ẹ jáwọ́ ń bẹ́ẹ̀ ìwà ìkànnì ohun tí òdo lóko méjì kò dání jẹ́ àti pé ìjìyà tó gbópọn bẹ fáwọn ọ̀bàyéjẹ́ tí wọ́n yan fífipá bánilòpọ̀ láàyò lábẹ́ òfin orílẹ̀-èdè ìpínlẹ̀ tìbílẹ̀ àti òfin ọlọ́run pẹ̀lú Fresh 105.9 FM ilé orin challenge Ìbàdàn ló ní ẹ dẹ́kun lílo ọmọbìnrin nílòkulò.
Fresh 105.9 FM, your feel good radio.
This is Crossfire. Sundays at 4 p.m.
Still here at the Southwest Political Headquarters, where we report to you the side. The program is Crossfire. Of course, our conversation this wonderful evening is all about issue of fiscal responsibility in governance and the spate of borrowing in Oyo on our mind. Is it in the best interest of the populace? Is it in the best interest of the state? And for those who have been expressing concerns, are those concerns really genuine? Let me stick with Ojasope as you wrap up your portion. Before I cube in about, there's nothing bad about borrowing, but two critical factors about borrowing: the essence of what you want to use the money for and how you intend to pay for it.
Thank you, Mayor. We have to still go back at the peculiarity of bond, issuance of bond. Issuance of bond is slightly different from just obtaining loans. Because one of the parameters that make you qualify, prerequisite for the issuance, is how realistic is your plan, repayment plan. And when you're looking at the repayment plan in this context, you're not looking at the present figure. I noticed that the opposition has been so confounded by the present figure. No. The present figure, and which is the reason why the state is reviewing the income, is more affected by the pandemic. You now look at these indicators. Okay, without this pandemic, because the pandemic also has affected the economy of the state, even the treasury, because there has been diversion. There has been emergency and exigency that has to be taken care of. So apart from that, so after this pandemic, what are we looking at? What are the potentials we have? Remember I said that we have high population is a big factor. The population of Oyo State is more than the whole of the United Arab Emirates. And the United Arab Emirates has 9 airports. Dubai alone is less than 3 million in population, has 2 international airports. Dubai, United Arab Emirates, they are producing nothing apart from oil.
Are we going to toll? I'm interested.
No, I'm just telling you that the importance
are we going to toll some of those routes? Because I'm
yes,
interested. How do we make our money back?
Now,
how do we pay these guys?
I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me now go to the simplest format.
Mm.
If we have airports upgraded to international airports, we have hotels that will come to that axis. We have other businesses that will come to that axis. We have good road networks, and other investors who want to capitalize on that and come to Oyo State. They will pay taxes. They will employ people that will patronize the markets. These are things that boost the economy. Government has no business. Government has no business going to go and start maybe a manufacturing company or a product. No, you make these infrastructures attractive. What do we go to do in Dubai? For God's sake, I will keep making that example. It's because we have beautiful infrastructures. It's also part of tourism. If you have good road networks, APC kept complaining when Lagos State was going to develop Bega bus stop. Is it state government? The Lagos State developed it, and we can pass through that place. That place used to be serious nightmare. Those are the things we're talking about. you make the setting in the whole of your state attractive for those who are business minded. Business minded people don't like to wait their time, and that's what we are talking about. So if we are going to develop the rail corridor, take advantage of what the federal government is doing, we are going to improve on the local airports,
the dry ports. What about the dry
and
ports?
the dry ports.
Okay.
If we are going to capitalize on all this, there is going to be an economic boom in about 12 months.
So there must be a backup as far as we are concerned
Yes, there
in
must
terms
be a backup.
of infrastructural.
We don't wait. We have, what the state is proposing is like jump-starting the economy with this. Because if you have to wait till all these things will grow naturally, you're talking about 20, 30 years. And unless somebody is on the driver's seat to announce these things, they don't happen naturally. You have to, for instance, when the administration of President Olusegun Obasanjo refused to give Lagos State monthly allocation, many of us thought, Lagos is finished. But that was what propelled Lagos State to development. They had to think out of the box. Monthly allocation, as far as I'm concerned, coming from federal government, is a cost to Nigeria because we stopped thinking. And when people embezzle that money, because it's not direct tax from our direct taxes, we don't even hold them accountable. We need to look inward to be more productive. Oyo State has no business being poor. With the level of agricultural potentials we have, with the population we have no business being poor.
So this is a great deal as far as we are concerned.
It's a great deal.
It's
a novel
deal.
Yeah.
You should be born again now with what you have had.
I think it should be born
Thank
again.
you, Mayor. Deliberately, I did not talk about the dry port issue because you remember when I came here, the last time I came here, I talked about the state government thinking on how they should improve on the infrastructure in that corridor. You see, because I know that dry port is a viable project that will, bring development to the state. But for me, the state government has wasted the opportunity it's had in borrowing at that time to construct park instead of using the money they borrowed at that time to construct motor park.
Bus terminus, right?
Please, I beg. Well, don't even go like that. They should have thought about
Is a park.
the drive.
Bus terminus is
in fact
it's cosmetic.
It's just a way of packaging using all this. You see, what they ought to have done was to borrow money to develop infrastructure at that dry port, and a lot of businesses will spring up. And by the time all these businesses spring up, you see, the other time when I talked about the Ilorin Airport, I mentioned it because I know why Ilorin Airport is not functioning well. Ilorin Airport international is not functioning well because a lot of investors are not really going into that state. You see, by the time we have the dry port functioning very well.
Do you agree, like you have said, that having an international airport is in our best interest in our state? Is it that you only disagree with how we are going about financing it, borrowing to do it? But do you agree that it's a good thing for the state?
Not now.
Why?
Not now.
No, why, Sam?
Why? Because if the state has developed its infrastructure in such a way that that airport will be functional.
Okay.
If they build it now, if they go ahead to do it, you and I will come back here in the next 5 years, and I know you will say, these people they have said it, because I know it's going to be counterproductive, because even the local flights in that airport. I know how many airlines are operating there. The local flights are they functioning well? Why? It's not about the fact that we want to develop.
You are saying. I hope you are not confusing yourself, right?
Yes.
You are of the opinion that the needed infrastructure to really propel activity in that airport is not there.
Yes.
The fact that they have not said they are going to put all this infrastructure together alongside, upgrading that airport, doesn't that add up?
I said it
That's what they said they want to do.
The dry port project.
Yes.
It's a good project. I'm not going to be here to condemn, but I also said,
and those roads captured from the 100 billion. Do you also agree those roads?
Those roads. Which road? You see, which road?
Captured under the 100 billion.
Bomasho.
The Ajia. You know those Ajia road, right?
Ajia.
All of them, yes.
Ajia.
You don't say those roads are good.
What is the economic importance of that road?
And citizens of this state living in those areas, living in those corridors. I'm just asking you.
Wait. You see, these are projects you can execute without borrowing. You see,
They said that particular road, that road is from an investor who is putting his own money down.
Oyo State has already borrowed so much, and we are concerned. I told you that this government has wasted the opportunity it had initially, because if the government has borrowed money to do to construct infrastructures in dry port, I wouldn't have had any issue with it. But now they are coming back saying they just woke up one night and say, we have wasted our opportunity. We can still borrow now. Let's go. Maybe in another 6 months they will still wake up another time and say, let us borrow another money to go and construct another airport in Ishaki because of you don't run government like that. Government, I expect that this government must have, maybe by the time they were borrowing the first time, they should have known what they wanted to do. Are you getting me? That's why I said this government, what we are witnessing now is just a result of lack of planning by this government. Because if this government had borrowed the money if they are using the money they used the other time for all these projects, I wouldn't have had any issue with
You want to respond quickly? We have specifics on those, loans. Those loans have specifics. Hold on a second.
He has not also answered the issue of repayment plan, because we are concerned about that, because I know what this is a government that will have problem later. Even it may not even be their own administration, because we will end up not being able to pay salary later, because it's just like I've listened to an argument by one of them that Ogun State is borrowing 250 billion, therefore Oyo State must borrow 100 billion. Is that what is the IGR of Ogun State? What is the IGR of Oyo? And how have you people improved on the IGR of Oyo?
Ojasope.
How have they improved?
He will answer you. Ojasope, please go ahead.
We are working to improve on the IGR of Oyo, and you are complaining. And while you were talking just now, it occurred to me that there is no major step that this present administration has taken that has not thrown the opposition into jittery. That's the same way they were so jittery when we were going to reopen the terminal classes for the schools. And courage is beyond the words of mouth. Courage is an action. And this government has taken the bold step. A bond repayment plan, I've said it earlier. there are a lot of things that go into repayment of bonds. That's why the commissioner was nice enough to break it down that this 100 billion is coming in 2 tranches, because the funds are tied to particular projects. Now, the state is barely surviving now, and we are looking at a situation that very soon the IGR will increase. Now, if the IGR increases, how will it be difficult to pay? Because there are other, because according to the analysis of the Commissioner for Finance, because I'm not the Commissioner for Finance and I'm not a spokesperson, but from the understanding of what I read, he said all they needed to pay is average of about 1 billion monthly after they've collected the money.
Let me for the two of you, take a listen. This is Governor Makinde himself. One of the steps we have taken is to ensure that loans taken are used to fund priority capital projects. Another thing, according to him, that they are also doing is an alternative project funding approach to carry out key priority projects. This will be used for the 21-kilometer airport Ajah New Ife Express Road, which you yourself agree it's good, right? But you think maybe they have to, with a sport to Amuluko in Ibadan and few other projects. And according to him, the alternative approach entails that the contractor will fund the project and the state government will pay for the project over 30 months. You are not impressed with this kind of, approach to financing?
You see, what the governor has said was, to me, an afterthought. You see, initially when they told us they wanted to take 100 billion bond, that project I think was captured in it. Now they are coming back to tell us that it's going to be funded by the contractor and the state government will pay for it in 30 months. That's okay. But to me, the issue of he had also said something which I want to make reference to. He said the state is barely surviving now. He said it, that the state is barely surviving now.
Yes.
The statement,
the fact that
government, let me also say, the government also did say that the fact before him is clear that the state has huge infrastructural deficits, and if those deficits are not addressed, according to the governor, it means we'll be maintaining the status quo. Any person with sound financial knowledge will tell you that the only way to get out of this cycle of poverty is through massive investment infrastructure, which is what he's been talking about. You don't think that's the way to go?
Wait, I don't have any issue with massive investment infrastructure. But my point is this. Wait, if I'm a father, I'm earning 100,000 naira in a month, and I want to make sure that I have accommodation, my own accommodation for my family, and I'm earning 100,000 naira in a month, and I approach a bank, and because I want a very beautiful accommodation for my family, I now secure a loan of 50 million.
No. Hold on a second, sir. Hold on a second, sir. This 100 billion, like I did tell you at the beginning of this conversation,
yes,
the specifics as far as government is concerned. 1, 50-kilometer road. He said Ogbomoso. He has spoken about the food corridor again, the food basket. Are you telling me it's not important for us to fix that? Do you agree it's very important for us to fix that?
Wait.
No, I'm just asking you. I'm asking you. Do you think they are very important?
Nobody will tell you that it's not important.
Okay, good.
But what we are,
and you have also acknowledged that the Barasakula Road project is also very key, right?
It's a viable project that does not need to secure. The government does not need to secure any loan for it.
But we started this conversation by saying the previous administration of Governor Belajimo, and you also served, came up with the initiative you are talking about with ENI. And after 1 year, the thing did not fly.
They should approach another
After
investor.
2 years, not even 1 year.
So
They should approach another investor if they don't want to go with the other.
you are not
company.
impressed that the government said the agreement between your administration that time was 67 billion for the same road, and now since they couldn't get, they are now going to do it on their own for 50 billion. You don't think they've done well?
Isaac,
I'm just asking, sir.
wait, 67 billion when
PPP.
when it was PPP.
Yes. Now
Now,
50 billion.
50 billion.
Our own money.
What?
No, that's what I'm saying. How to use our money to fix it.
Which our own money?
The one we're going to borrow.
To use, no, it's not our money. It's not our
Because
money.
we're going to pay it
We
eventually.
are going to pay interest.
What about the 67 billion? Because it is
Six-
PPP, you think the state is not still going to?
How much is the state? Wait, you have said it that we are going to be paying 1 billion naira in a month as interest. We are not even talking about servicing the real debt. So wait, when you add up all those interest and the other expenses, you discover that it runs to more than 70 billion. So please, don't let us confuse this issue. The point is, you see.
Do you agree that
circular road-
do you agree that if these investments are put in place, let's leave the money aspect.
Yes.
Will it put this state in a better state economically? Do you think so?
Of course, that was why the last administration thought about that project. And nobody is saying the circular road project is
Upgrading of the airports. Is saying Ogumosho Road.
upgrading of the airport. Wait, to me, it's not a project for now that we should. It should not be a priority project now. We have a lot. If the governor had concentrated on the dry port, to me, if you equate it with airport, what is going the return on investment from that dry infrastructure in the dry port area is going to be more than
Ojasope, I mean, good government. People talk about multitasking. You want to win to his concern. I think he's fixated on the issue of dry ports. You want to respond to the essence of all these other initiatives captured under this bond.
Thank you. One thing that kept coming to my mind as he was talking is that some of these things we're debating about, if the last administration has been able to fix these infrastructures in 8 years, we will have been talking about something else. 8 years. In 8 years, APC government was not able to fix 50 kilometers of road.
That is your own.
You understand?
thinking.
So that's why we are still talking about fixing Alakia Road, fixing Iseyin.
Amuloko.
You understand? If these ones have been done, we'll have fresh challenges to face. And if they are coming up now to raise objection about it, I will just say that our neighbors are shameless, because it's something they should be ashamed of. Some of the projects the last administration started, we boldly completed them. And we are now taking up initiative to say, okay, these projects that you were not able to even do, let's repackage it. These same projects we're going to execute, but let's repackage it because people need it. Have you applied that Akala Express road? Have you seen how deplorable that road is?
Even that Amuloko is a hell.
Yes. There are some places in this Ibadan, if you tell me to come there, it's either I make up my mind I come on bike or I bother not to go, because the roads are very bad. And we are talking about fixing these roads. These are important things. I like the question you asked, that are all these infrastructures important? Let's forget about the issue of issuance of bond now. Is it important to fix the Amuloko Road, Ajia Alakia Road,
Saying Ogumosho.
Ogumosho Road, upgrade the international airport? While he was talking, it occurred to me that no wonder in 8 years of APC government at the National Assembly for your South and in your state, nobody moved the motion to upgrade the airport to international, because to them it's not necessary now. Let our people continue to suffer. Whoever wants to go to Abuja should go by road. Whoever wants to travel out should go to Lagos.
I think I'm aware that Senator Sojakambi at the point in time also did, when he was there. He did raise the motion on that, and I'm aware.
And you are telling me, were you at that last airport 8 years ago, or you don't know there has been some improvement there? I used to go to Abuja from there between 2007 to 2011.
Abuja that you
and
go,
I know
go twice in a week.
I know the the status of that airport.
Mayor, when you're talking about having a visionary leadership, I think that's where the difference comes in. Because the way people talk now, if they were around when Papa Awolowo had the vision of UI, University of Ibadan, had the vision of Cocoa House and Liberty Stadium, they will have to we don't need stadium. And these things became the first in Africa. That's what you call about. You don't say that until we need it. One of my teachers will say you don't start cooking beans when you are hungry. You have to look ahead that, I will be hungry. I will need food by 7. Let me start cooking by 5 if you are going to eat beans.
So you believe this moves by this current administration, they are both moves critical to...
They are very, very critical.
Our development, right?
They are very, very critical. Look, imagine an investor coming to Nigeria and his destination is Ibadan, for instance. And he has heard so much about Lagos. You know how many people have died in hold up on this highway, Lagos-Ibadan highway, because they are not used to such stress. Now know that there is international, his flight can even land in Ibadan. And there are good road networks from that airport to wherever he's going. You think you will not be more encouraged to come? Look, we have a lot of work to do in post-COVID, because a lot of people, they are getting adapted to not going about. So if your infrastructures are not encouraging, if your system are not near perfect, a lot of people will not visit your state. And if they don't come, you can't grow investment. Right. These things are very, very important. You have a lot of investors that want to come, particularly agriculture related investment, that want to come to your state.
Do you have a response to he cubed in earlier that the way this government is going about borrowing, he's seen within a very short distance in the future where we start
to pay salary?
You want to respond to what he said that? Does he understand?
He doesn't understand the working of government. And I don't understand, because he served
he said last. He served.
I will refer him to go to Investopedia to go and read more about investment, about financial instruments.
Oftentimes some of these borrowing and bonds are usually tied to your income.
Your income.
We don't know. Some of them are tied. They may be pulling off so percentage.
Mayor, they are not only tied to your income. Okay. They are also tied to the projection. Because it's not, like I said earlier, it's not just about what you're making now. They will consider so many factors. These are professionals that will come to sit down, to look at the books. They look at the projection. Since this government came in, what has been the projection in the revenue? Then
so you are showing the people of your state they should have no fear.
No fear at all.
Thank you very well. Thank God he's talked about projection. The last administration left an IGR of over 2 billion. And so far, this government, according to them, they said they are making 2.7 billion. So what that tells you is that,
which is now around 1.6 now since COVID started, right? It has dropped.
So now, what that tells you is that before the expiration of this administration, they will not make more than 3 billion naira.
Monthly, right?
Monthly.
Okay.
So if that is what they are going to make in 4 years, how will they be able to pay all these debts that they want to borrow? You see, that is the concern. It's not about somebody criticizing because we don't want government to execute this project. No, what we are saying is this government should admit that it lacks the capacity to generate more revenue for the state. They should admit that they need help from people who know how best to govern. They should admit that they are helpless now, because he has even said it that the state is barely surviving. That's why they have to borrow money
because of
to
the
implement
COVID
project.
and a lot of debts, a lot of salaries your government refuse to pay.
You may also reduce. Which government?
We are taking up the responsibility.
Ajimabi did not leave any salary unpaid for
Seyi Makinde. You're on live.
Yes, I'm on live yes,
Don't
I'm
let
on live
them start
program.
calling to correct
Wait,
you.
nobody can. I know what I'm talking about. Seyi Makinde paid
Poli Ibadan.
Poli Ibadan is not.
Okay, gentlemen, I'll just take two calls and we'll just wrap up this
No,
conversation. This wonderful evening. If you're just joining us, it's still Crossfire. And the 100 billion naira bond on our mind. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Yes, sir. This is Assis FT.
Thanks for joining us. Please go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. I just want to comment about the issue.
Please go ahead, sir.
Mr. Ojasope.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Please,
sir.
I just want to send this to my governor.
Okay.
If my governor can attach this kind of money to this project, in fact, I'm very happy. If he can do more to borrow 200 billion naira, I will appreciate it. But I want him to execute that project. That is my point, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. In investments, like I gave this same illustration.
One second, please. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Thanks so much for joining us. Please go ahead, John, quickly.
The APC man that is here, he's making a comment that he might have an billionaire club. I want to ask him, did he might use the money to run the government? Or did he might hello?
I'm hearing you.
I want to ask, did he might go and borrow from a billionaire club to run Ojasope? After PDP, we accuse him that he's using the money to run state. Please, I want to ask him.
No, I got a point. That the point is making. The point is making is that the governor is a billionaire, and he should be able to use his goodwill to attract other billionaires to his state. Not that they should go and borrow. That's what he's trying to say.
The refinery that Dangote is building and all these cement factories, are they from his personal purse?
Absolutely.
Find out.
Hello.
They are from credit facilities.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I'm calling from Ibadan. Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us.
There is difference between business and politics. The guy is confusing himself. Now, Cocoa House is standing there. Are we still paying for Cocoa House? Thank you.
What? You see, let me.
You guys have your final floor. I don't get him. Okay.
Let me state it clearly.
45 seconds. We're done.
What we are saying is not that the governor should not execute projects, but what we are saying is that the governor should be, should think fast on how they can generate more revenue to execute all those projects they want to execute, rather than plunging the state into eternal bankruptcy. It's not fair for.
Your point is made. Just over 30 seconds.
I would just want us to understand that investment call forth more investment. When the government opens up all this infrastructure and develop it, this pace of investment growth in Oyo State will go up, then the IGR will go up. That's the same thing that happened in Lagos State. The major revenue spinner for Lagos State is the port. And we're going to have port. We are going to develop the area.
Gentlemen, I must really thank you. Our time fast spent. Two of you, you've been very civil this evening. We always fight here every Sunday. But this evening, we've been fighting with verbatim punches there and there. Thank you so much for coming. The one they call Analytica Ojasope, and my good friend, the one and the only Sholalu. I may just read the mail, Isaac Brown. I'll see you tomorrow morning on COVID-19.
Thank you.
Fresh 105.9 FM, your feel-good radio.
Ìbàdàn kí ni so Fresh FM nìbàdàn la wà.
Ara kẹ́ńgé tún ti dòde o, ẹ jẹ́ ká jọgbó. Ó yá ká jọgbó ètò. Nìkan ni Fresh FM. Oh yes. Pẹ̀lú Abọ́ládé Sálámì tẹ́ ń fẹ́ o. Ọgbọ́n àṣà ẹ̀fẹ̀ àríyá kò má dé nígbẹ̀yìn. Ẹ tẹ́tí lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ká jọgbó. Ara kẹ́ńgé tún ti dòde ká jọgbó. Ká jọgbó. Pẹ̀lú Abọ́ládé Sálámì ká jọgbó. Ní Fresh FM 105.9 ká jọgbó. Ìkànnì tó ń kilẹ̀ falafala ká jọgbó. Ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Sunday ká jọgbó. Ká jọgbó. Lábala lètò ara kéńgé yìí ká jọgbó. Òwe lẹ́ṣin ọ̀rọ̀ ìyẹn ń bẹ níbẹ̀ ká jọgbó. Ẹ̀kọ́ ẹlẹ́kọ̀ lẹ́gbàá